Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 283, Coaching with Client Rhiannon. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. Oh my gosh, I am so excited and proud of Rhiannon. I'm excited for her and I'm so proud of her. Rhiannon has been a client of mine for a while, probably going on a year now. She was in my original 6-month Stop Over Drinking and Start Living coaching program, and then she joined Alive AF soon after it launched. And she has been getting regular coaching, doing the work, and as you'll hear in her podcast here, she has made great strides. But Rhiannon actually posted in our private Facebook group inside our Alive AF community. She needed some coaching about how to deal with the summer and her kids being at home and her not feeling like she's doing the things that she wants to do. And instead she is being pulled in a bunch of different directions. So I actually asked her if she wanted to jump on and do some coaching in exchange for coming on the podcast. And she delightfully said yes. And so what you're about to hear is actually me coaching Rhiannon. And this is exactly what it sounds like if you were to get coaching from me inside Alive AF or in a private coaching call or in one of my smaller group coaching programs. I coached Rhiannon as if she wasn't on the podcast. So this is a real coaching call between me and my client Rhiannon around dealing with the summer and schedule changes and making yourself a priority. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much, Rhiannon, for coming on the podcast and sharing and being willing to share it and get coaching in a very public format. I'm so proud of you, and I know you're going to continue to soar. Much love. Hi, Rhiannon. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Angela. Great to be here.
I'm so excited about today.
Me too.
So, podcast listeners, Rhiannon has graciously offered up, she's like volunteering as tribute today. She is a part of my Alive AF monthly membership, and she posted in our private Facebook group a coaching question. And I thought it was so good that I wanted to have a conversation with her about it. And so she graciously volunteered as tribute for a free coaching session if she was willing to share it on the podcast. So here we are. But before we get into the coaching, I thought it would be awesome if Rhiannon talked a little bit about where you've been, what it looked like before you joined Alive AF, like what your drinking was going on, and a little bit about yourself. So do you want to share a little bit about that before we jump in?
Yeah, that'd be great. So my name is Rhiannon, and I'm a mother of two, married, nurse. I haven't worked as a nurse in a really long time, but I have a nursing background. So, and definitely used to be a big drinker. I don't drink much anymore, thanks to Angela and Coach Steph in the program. But I got into a big time habit of drinking daily. I was, my kids are now 11 and 12, so a little older, but still stressful. But when they were little, I used alcohol a lot to deal with the monotony and just the day-to-day, the stress, the judgment I kind of felt of, was I being a good enough mother and was I making good decisions? And so, I had started drinking in college, probably like a lot of people, and got into this, mindset that drinking is more fun and it makes everything better. And, but what started happening, especially around COVID, it got to be really bad. And I'd probably start drinking in the middle of the day most days because I was so bored and I was so stressed out and worried and I didn't know what was happening and how the world was going. So I kind of used that as a major crutch and I also used it to connect with people. Like all of my friends are big drinkers. My husband's a big drinker. And so it just kind of slowly began intertwining more in my life. And yeah, I would, and it doesn't agree with my system. I've learned that. Like I would have horrible heartburn. I slept terribly. I'd wake up, I'd be awake for like 3 hours in the middle of the night. I'd have to get up and mother my kids and probably not doing a great job at that. So, and then of course the evening comes and you just kind of start drinking again, even though in the morning you swore you wouldn't. So that just became an ongoing thing. And I can remember laying in bed at night, bleary eyed from however much wine, scrolling. And I mean, I was very curious about not drinking and I really wanted to stop drinking, but I didn't know what that would look like. And it's kind of a scary, daunting thought. It seems unattainable. And it seems, especially in my friend group and with my family, they're all big drinkers. It just didn't seem in the cards for me. And I just thought people just drink and that's what you do. And you feel like shit and it's okay. And, and then I just, I don't know, Angela's, and I would see her, I don't know if it's an ad or the Facebook, like the clickbait or whatever they call it. I don't know, but it would pop up on my Facebook a lot. And I feel like it was like reaching out to me. And so I started like with the Wine-Free Work Week and just kind of listening to the podcast, and everything really resonated with me. And so I joined Angela's coaching program, the 6-month last year, and just loved it. And I just felt like really I connected with you and all the women in the group. And I really cut down on my drinking, but summertime came around and the stress of the summer started and I kind of got back into old habits and I just kind of let it, my drinking was creeping, as you've coined. And I decided to join a Live AF. And this January I did a dry January, and something about it clicked for me this time. And I just really got real with myself, and I got very, a lot better with my journaling and my planning. And I just realized this is best for me. Like the drinking just isn't good for me. I've been on vacations now without drinking with all of our drinking friends and hanging out at the pool. And it's just, I can probably count on one hand how many times I've had a drink in like the last 6 or 7 months. Wow. So it's been amazing. I feel so much better, and my body feels better. I sleep so much better. I mean, all the things are, I feel like I have more fun too. I know that's probably sounds so cliche. I know we hear people say it, but it's actually really true.
Yeah.
And so I feel more present for my kids. My kids have commented like, Mommy, we've noticed you're the only one out of like all your friends that don't really drink anymore. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like to do it anymore. It doesn't make me feel good. So, and I feel like that's modeling for them. I want my kids, that was a big why for me too. Like I want my kids to know, you don't have to drink to have fun. You don't have to, that doesn't have to be your life. And I don't want it to be for them,
Yeah, so good.
So I feel like I've come a long way.
You have come so far. It's been so amazing to watch your transformation and all of it, right? And, doing the deeper work too, right? Like working through relationship stuff and mothering, how you think about yourself as a mother and as a parent and as a wife and a daughter and like all of that stuff you've worked really hard on.
Right.
And so, I feel like it all kind of came together for you.
It did.
At the beginning of the year. Yeah. So good.
It took me a minute, but I feel like I finally arrived. So it's a good feeling.
Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything that you'd want to tell people that maybe were like you, a year ago or so, just, kind of stuck, feeling like, I don't even know how to handle this. I don't even know what to do. Everybody around me drinks. This is the pattern. And it might feel really hopeless to like figure out how to crawl your way out of that. What would you want to tell them?
I mean, I think I would just say, just start, just take the leap. You never know what's on the other side until you give it a shot. And it's honestly so much better. I mean, it hasn't always been easy. Don't get me wrong. It's been challenging. It's been awkward. But I really feel like in the grand scheme of things, I haven't been really working on it that long compared to some.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already just so much easier. And it already just feels like this is just how my life is now. And I mean, I would just say just start. And, it seems scary, it seems daunting, but once you take the first step, I feel like it really, it'll kind of propel you to
Yes.
to keep going, and you'll start feeling so good, and that's what keeps me going. And I play the tape forward, and I know that I'm doing what's best for me. And I think that's the one thing I've had to learn too is it doesn't, I was so worried about what other people were thinking, what it would mean for them. But I had to just really start focusing on, no, this is my life. What is best for me?
Yeah.
And so that has been a big one for me too.
Yeah. So
Just do
good.
it. That's what I
Just do
say.
it. Yeah, just do it, right? Like time passes, and as you know, it goes
Mm-hmm.
by fast. And you
Yes.
can either start working on it or continue on with the path. And as you know from experience, it just keeps getting worse, right?
Does. It really
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Something about it. I don't
yeah,
know. Alcohol.
yeah, yeah. Well, I want to get into your coaching that you asked for yesterday in the
Oh.
Facebook group. So thank you for sharing that. And I think it's really helpful for people to know where you came from and where you are now. So, Rhiannon's been very good about asking for support. And I think that's one of the key reasons why she has had the success that she has, that she's consistent. When she feels stuck, she owns it. If she hasn't been doing the work, she posts in the Facebook group and asks for help so she can get back on track consistently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it helps. Like you
It
have to be
does.
willing to be like, I'm not doing it. And so I need help getting back, because getting back
Yeah,
is what helps you make progress. So I just want to highlight
definitely.
that this is not a progress only or a perfection only experience. This is being willing to admit that you need some help and asking for
Oh,
it consistently, right?
oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I fall off, not, I would say fall off the wagon, but I mean, I
It
definitely
ebbs
have
and
my times
flows,
sometimes.
right?
Yeah. Oh, it
Yeah.
totally ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
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 Not
Cool.
always it's what B minus work, right?
B
That's
minus
what we
work. Absolutely. Here we are. B minus work gets you less than a handful of days of drinking in 2024. So,
Yeah.
like, high five to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm super proud of myself.
I'm
So
so proud of you too.
thank you.
Yay. All right. So, why don't you read to them what you posted in the Facebook group yesterday?
Okay, great. It says, I have been wanting to post, but have just been so overwhelmed and busy. School has been out for almost 3 weeks, and that always throws me into a tailspin. That and the fact that I've been traveling solo with my kids 8 out of the last 14 days. All my choice, of course, but I find it hard to find time for myself when this happens. Same old song and dance for me about putting everyone else's needs above my own. I haven't been drinking, but my eating has been out of control. I was just wanting to set a goal for myself for June that I would find time to just do the basics daily: journal, plan, read, listen to a podcast or workshop, drink my water, and walk. With my kids out of school and being around me so much, I have a hard time finding privacy and time to be alone to do these things. And I have learned that I really need this time for myself. I have been getting up early, and some days it's great, but some days they get up early too. And I get annoyed by that because I feel that's my only time to be alone. I realize I'm judging myself for that last fact. And then I edited to add in that I do see an improvement from last year, as I had already started back to very regular drinking by now from the same issue. So I am proud that that part is sticking for me finally.
Well, thank
Right.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, the thing that really stuck out with me is, of course, we know that you presented in the Facebook group with this coaching request to help you like figure out a way with summer going on and your kids being home and you're being busy with things, how to do the daily work, right?
Right.
And what really stuck out for me is I just took a couple notes, is that you said the fact that I've been traveling solo with my kids 8 out of the last 14 days, and you said all of my choice, of course, but I find it hard to find time for myself when this happens. And so, like, you realize that you made the choice to travel out of those days, right? But then in the
Yes.
same sentence, you're saying, I find it hard to do what I need to do for myself when this happens, as if it wasn't a choice, right? So it's kind of like an oxymoron. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of like, you know that it's your choice, but you're not really seeing that this is your choice in that
Right. I
statement,
mean,
right?
oh yeah, I think there's a little resentment there,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was traveling solo and
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah. So I think the deeper question that I'm curious about is like, how did we get there? How did we decide to do that kind of travel? Like, what was going on that you made that decision? I'm just curious.
no, it's a good question. It was, well, number one, it was all for my kids stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my son went to which was very cool, a football coaching camp at Clemson, which is my
Mm-hmm.
alma mater. I
Mm-hmm.
love, we're big Tiger fans, but
Mm-hmm.
took him there. And then that same weekend, my daughter had a lacrosse tournament in Atlanta. So I had to drive him to and fro.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband wasn't able to help. So I had to then drive home to get my daughter to drive to Atlanta and then drive back. And so that was basically like 4 days on the road,
Mm-hmm.
um, and a lot of driving and a lot of, like I say, resentment that I was doing it by myself. And I probably didn't ask for help in a very constructive way and got upset when I wasn't given any help. But
Mm-hmm.
that was something I'd kind of worked through. So yeah, it wasn't, I mean, it was enjoyable, but it was a lot. And I made the decision. I mean, I do this sometimes. I'll make plans and I'm like, I can do it all. Like, I can do it. I'm going to
Yes.
do it and
Yes.
we're going to have the best time. And
Yep.
I think a lot of times in the back of my head, I think I only have so many more summers with my kids. Like, we need to
Mm-hmm.
do it all. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's, of course, then when the push comes to shove and it's like the reality hits me, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like, that was
Yeah.
way too much. That was
Yes.
a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I think like just looking at that situation, so backing it up even further, you decided you wanted to do that, right? Like
I did.
it wasn't a possibility or an option for you to say no to one of your kids. Like, I'm not going to
Right.
drive you. Is that,
Yeah.
you felt that
No.
way? Like you weren't going
Oh,
to
yeah.
say no, right? So you were going to figure it out regardless, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I
Okay.
was, yeah.
Yeah. So then we have to let go of the resentments, right?
Right.
So like leading up to it, it's like you've got to manage your mind to say, you know what, this feels like a lot, and this is what I'm choosing to do right now. This is
Mm-hmm.
100% my choice,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Your
Right.
husband said no, right? Do you
Which
think?
pissed me off.
Right, but like maybe that's why did it piss you off? Because you want to say no more often, or you wish you could say no more often? Like, why does that make you mad?
Yeah, probably. I think I feel like a lot. I mean, as all mothers probably feel, a lot falls on us. And he has a high demand job and I'm a stay at home mom. So it is a lot of it is on me, but um, I think I felt jealous too because he didn't come with us for the weekend part. He got to like go to the farm all weekend and play in the woods, which is what he loves to do. And so I think a part of me was too like, oh, I'm here like carting our kids around the East Coast and you're like having a good time hanging out with your buddies. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that was,
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
it also.
Yes. So that just makes me think that you want some of that time for you.
Oh, completely.
Right. And so we
Completely.
have to figure out a way for you to get that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got to be balanced in some way. Some,
Yeah.
like in certain seasons, I talk about this a lot. It's like in certain seasons of our life, especially when we have, multi-dimensional lives with, family and kids and work and
Mm-hmm.
spouses and all of that, there's going to be busy times. Like I'm in it right now. I've got two kids up leveling. So one kid's graduating from fifth grade, one kid's graduating from eighth grade, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I've got my middle, right? And
Right.
so like this is this week, literally, this is all that's happening. So it's like it's more intense this week, and like even last week, like the prep and dances and last minute things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is a season. And so then
Right.
I'm more like, okay, this is temporary, right? I can put out a little bit more effort right now because this is not what my everyday looks like, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I also make sure that I'm building in my time, right? So like no matter what, it's like I'm okay, when am I going to run today? When am I going to get my steps in? When am I going to make my lunches? You know what I mean? So like that,
Mhm.
when I'm thinking about all the things, I'm also considering myself.
Right.
And so I
Yeah.
think that's the added piece that you want to think about is like if it rubs on you that he's got this weekend, well, how can Rhiannon get a weekend?
Right. Yeah. I need to do that.
Have you ever done that?
I have. I have gone on girls' weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And
What about just by yourself, though?
so that's interesting because when my son was at Clemson, I did have what I would drop him off for his camp and I would stick around for a little bit, but part of the day I would just go off by myself and I drove around and walked around and I actually was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never gone off away by myself before, but it kind of started me thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was just a little bit of time, but I mean, I was like, wow, it felt really good to
Yeah.
just it would have kind of off my radar, even though I feel like you do that a
I
lot. And
do.
I think that's amazing. I've never like entertained the idea for myself. So
Yeah.
I think I need to.
Yeah. I mean, especially like I just think whenever we get like pissed off at somebody else or jealous or
Hmm.
resentful about what somebody else is doing, like, for your husband, it's just like, okay, that's just telling me that that's something that I want. That's all
Hmm.
that is. And you wish that you could be doing that instead, you know?
Totally.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah. So, like, I just like put that, in your side pocket for now is like something
Right.
that we want to like somehow figure out how to build into yourself for this summer, especially if you are the one that is taking on the things. There's absolutely no reason why you couldn't do that, at least for an overnight by yourself
Right.
on the weekend, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I think just acknowledge next time when you have this kind of compact, lots of things
Hmm.
going on, and like you've got to be a lot, all these places, be like, this is my choice. And I know this is coming, right? So you knew that this was going to happen. Like, how
Yeah.
can I plan to set myself up for success and keep honoring myself here? Did you have any of those thoughts before you went on the
I did.
excursions?
I tried to think ahead with like mainly my meals because I knew I didn't want to eat out every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in an Airbnb. So I was able to like go grocery shopping and get a few things. So I definitely did that. And I felt like the one day that I had, it was like a day and a half that I had like kind of to myself, that was like the best
Mm-hmm.
because I just felt like I was focused and I got out and I was walking but the rest of the time, no.
Mm. Okay.
I didn't. I mean, I try to make good decisions when we would do stuff, but in the end, sometimes my stress and my overwhelm wins out and I don't make the best choice in the moment and then I
Mm-hmm.
regret it and you
Yeah.
know,
Right. It kind of
but
distracts you from the experience that you're trying to be there with anyway, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you do differently next time?
I mean, oh gosh. I mean, I would say I would probably ask for more help. Honestly,
Mm,
I was thinking I probably wouldn't do all the things, but I know myself and I know I would probably do the same exact thing
mm-hmm.
because that's just the kind of person I am. And that's probably not a good thing all the time, but I probably would have um, really tried harder to find my daughter a ride, I think, to Atlanta. That way we wouldn't have had to go back 2 road trips 2 days in a row. That was a lot. And it
Okay.
was tiring. And that would have given us some more time to just to kind of have.
Okay.
Um, so
I
yeah, I was trying to think of anything else.
Well, I'm thinking about like just like when you're in the days, like say that I love that you're thinking about asking for help. Absolutely. They're on teams. There's multiple parents going. Of course, you could have asked for somebody to
Hmm.
drive them, right? But then like the day to day, like while you're there traveling with them, what do you think
Right.
you could do differently?
Mm, I guess I could have got up a little early and journaled and made that more of a priority.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of in the back of my mind, like, oh, I should do this, but then I didn't. Um, I mean, I could have had time to do it. I just chose not to. I felt
Yeah.
like it was too much, or
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the time to put in for it, which in reality, it's not that much time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I did have some alone time. I could have plopped down under a tree and journaled. Like,
right.
it would have been, yeah. I think in my mind, it felt like it was just one more thing to add to what I was already dealing with. And it just felt like I didn't want to have to take on any more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You didn't want to have to do any more work. Right.
Right. Yeah. Right. And sometimes it does feel like work. It's, for some reason, when I'm traveling, I always have good intentions to journal and plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always do it. And it always feels, I think it's because it's out of my usual routine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very kind of like, I'm a morning kind of person. Like, I like to get all my stuff done in the morning. And if it doesn't happen in the morning, I kind of almost feel like it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like my day's done, even though it's not. I mean, we have, even if I don't exercise in the morning, I feel like, oh, I can't exercise. It's after 11, but that's not really, that's just a story I'm telling myself.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think that if you can see the benefit, and I think you're evaluating the situation now, right? So that's what we're doing together. We're sort of like thinking about what worked, what didn't work, and what you're going to do differently next time. And you're seeing the value of investing 15, 20 minutes in yourself and making that consistent while you're traveling would pay off, right? So like, let's just imagine you did do it on this trip. How do you think you would feel about this whole experience?
I think I would have probably gotten to the bottom of a lot of my feelings, and I would have probably come out of it feeling a little more clear about stuff, and maybe not feeling as like resentful, jealous, etc. With my husband, most likely. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I really felt it toward my kids at all.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely I would have come out off of it feeling, because they were both very gracious. And so I felt, and another thing, it's like the manuals we talk about, you expect some gratitude, and thankfully, I think I needed a little bit of that to offset some of the other stuff I was feeling. Mm-hmm. But I think I would have definitely come out of it feeling a lot more clear about things and mm-hmm. better about, the choices I made to do that, and less resentful, etc. So
yeah. So you can see the benefit of doing it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then you probably would have helped manage your stress if you were like getting up and journaling and walking and exercising, just like you do at home.
Right.
Like you see that doing that at home helps you deal with home better, and you have a better experience in your life at home, right?
Correct. Oh yeah.
And
definitely.
So we want to take what works at home and bring it with us on the traveling, because it just makes that better too, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's also, for me, it's like just the summertime mindset. Mm-hmm. I think I let a lot of things go out the window with my routine in the summer mm-hmm. because I'm, focused on what else is going on. And so it's something I need to work on for sure.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with that fact.
Yeah. So it's because of how you're thinking about it though, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think? What do you think about your schedule and the kids being home because it's summer?
I have a lot of thoughts about it, but no. Of course, summertime, love summer, but at the same time, I do feel like it's a lot. There's always somebody around me. There's always, what are we doing today? What's for dinner? What's blah, blah, blah. Like, just, it's a lot of stimulation, and not a lot of quiet time, alone time for myself, which, like I said, I realized that I really need that. That's when I recharge my batteries. Mm-hmm. I always thought I was such an extrovert, but I think I'm learning otherwise.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So do you feel like you have less control during the summertime? Like,
I do, which I kind of went into summer feeling like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm going to have all this time. I can just get up and do my thing, and I don't have to take anybody to school. Mm-hmm. And I think that was like in one ear and out the other. Like I should have held on to that a little bit, I think, mm-hmm. because now I just feel like I'm there's chaos because we're not on a schedule. Like, I think it's, you know what I mean? Like, I went to the opposite end.
Right. You're sort of like letting the circumstances decide how you think and feel.
Right.
Instead of
Correct.
deciding how you want to think and feel about your time during the summer.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. So imagine if you thought, oh, I've got so much time to do these things that I want to do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the outcome would be?
I mean, that sounds a lot better. I do. I think that I would probably feel more motivated, and I would, I think part of it too is I feel like, I know this is another issue, because my kids are home. I kind of feel like I not need to entertain them all the time, but I need to be like in their presence like I need to be around. And I know that I don't. They're old enough to be on their own. I mean, I leave them home alone. But I feel like once they're up for the day, that my time is like, it's done. Like so I think having that time, I need to reframe how I'm thinking about their awake hours also.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what helps me, because how old are your kids?
11 and 12.
11
like
and
almost
12.
13, I mean, they're old enough.
Yeah. They're like, we have the similar age. I have 11, 13, and 14.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I like to do,
Bless you.
yes, it's like I just decide what chunks of the day I'm going to spend with them.
Okay.
And then I don't decide, like, it's not like this sort of like fluid day where I don't really know what's going on or anything. It's like, no, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to, I have my morning routine, and I'm going to exercise. Those are like baseline stuff. Like that always gets put on my calendar first. Like I always decide where I'm going to fit that in first before anybody. Because if I don't, then it's cranky.
Yeah,
right? I'm
totally.
not enjoying that time with them at all, right?
No, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm like, get so resentful, and I feel like I'm just
yeah. So it's like
just...
even though it sounds like a lot of people like, well, you should spend time with your kids, or this is, we get all that programming in our head about what we should be doing. Our kids are only here once. It's a limited amount of time. They're growing up so fast. All of that bullshit. And when we don't take care of ourselves, the time that we are saying that we're spending with them is filled with resentments and anger and frustration, which isn't being present for them, which doesn't add to the whole experience that you're wanting to have with them, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Frustration, resentment. These are all words I'd written down too.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to invest in yourself first. So like that has to go on the calendar first. So like today is a very busy day. I've got this podcast recording. I have Arlo's graduation right after that. And then I have like 4 private calls back to back to back. And the kids are coming home like in the afternoon, right? And so there's other things. We're taking our youngest out to dinner to celebrate his 5th grade graduation tonight. Like it's just packed. And the way I approach that is like, okay, I got to wake up this time, and then I got to be out the door by this time to get my exercise in. And then this is when I'm going to make my lunch. Like all of that goes in. So
you're like all of it. You're right, not writing it down. But
it's almost like when things are really busy, that's when I got to lock down on my self-care, because otherwise I don't have the energy to be happy about it all and to be present with it. Right.
Right. Oh, completely.
Yeah. And then if I just let the day go, which is easy to do, like when you're sitting there in the morning drinking your coffee, like it's easy just to keep sitting there.
It is.
And just like, oh, I'll just have another cup. It's too busy. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Angela's
no.
even spying on me.
I'm like, nope, you're going right now. 30 minutes. Let's go. Right.
Yeah.
And then you just got to go do it. So like, it's got to be your priority. And I know it's hard as a mother to say, I have to make myself the number one priority. Mm-hmm. But if you're asking for support on doing that, that's what you have to do. Like if that's important to you, because it adds to the quality of your life.
Right.
That's what you have to be willing to do. So I would just look at it that way. Like I need to put my priorities in first. And then I'm going to decide what hours I'm dedicated 100% fully and attentively to them.
Yeah.
And that might only be 2 to 3 hours a day. And honestly, that's probably all they need from you right now,
Yeah.
right?
It is. I think I'm definitely judging myself on that.
Yeah,
The feelings of I need to be with them all the time,
right.
and
Yeah, but are you
maybe
really
I'm
with
cranky.
them all the time when you're also wishing that you were doing the things that you wanted to do?
No, not at
No,
all. I
you're
mean,
not really with them. I'm doing
I'm
air quotes.
irritable and
Yeah, yeah. So imagine if you could just be with them for 2 or 3 hours a day and be fully present with them and you're wanting to be with them, like the difference that that would have.
huge.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think about scheduling your time a little bit like that? And like deciding ahead of time what that looks like? Like maybe the night before, you're just like looking at your day for tomorrow, deciding where your chunk of time is with your kids, how you're going to fit
Mhm.
in your self-care stuff, and
Right.
then
I
you
think
honor
it's,
that.
yeah, no, I think that's a great plan. I think I need to do that. I think I need to just set my alarm, and I've been just kind of waking up when I want to wake up because it's summertime,
Yeah.
and then I wake up later than I feel like I should have, and then I feel stressed out because I can't do the things. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think this is a great idea. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
I
like, if you want to sleep in during the summer, it's fine. Like, I think you just need to consciously decide what it is that your main, like, what is it that you want? And I think when I'm hearing from you, and I've coached with you a while now, is like you like your maintaining of your self-care. You
I do.
like investing that time into yourself because it pays off for you, right?
Totally, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's,
And so it seems uncomfortable sometimes to do that, right? And we have
yeah,
all the thoughts about we should just be able to sleep in. It's the summertime and I should just, but that doesn't help you feel good.
it doesn't, and it's, yeah, and then it leaves me less time to do the things, and yeah, setting a little bit of a boundary with myself,
Yeah.
and
It's really about ourselves, right?
yeah.
And then tell those kids if they interrupt you, like what, like if you were doing your morning, I know you wrote that in the post too, like they sometimes
Hmm.
interrupt you if you wake up early. So how do you want to handle that? Because that will happen.
Yeah, I would probably just tell them I needed a few minutes, go watch TV or play video games or whatever they're feeling like doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably more apt to, I think it's a lot of on me. Like I'm more concerned that, oh, they're awake and are they having too much screen time and da 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 all the things. So I think I need to just let a lot of that go and take care of myself and get it. I mean, it doesn't take that much time. They are sleeping in. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I just have to try to keep myself from going down a little bit of a rabbit hole when I do get interrupted. I think that's a big
Yes.
one for me. I need to.
Yeah. And sometimes I
Uh,
think too, it's like your mindset around your mothering probably just needs to be graduated a little bit because
it does.
when they were in elementary school and they were younger and toddlers, they did need you. And you probably
Mm-hmm.
couldn't sit and journal and drink coffee without being interrupted, right? They might have actually needed you. And so our brain just needs to be reminded sometimes that, okay, it's time for us to up level and us to graduate as mothers too, just like the kids are graduating onto bigger levels and more, being more independent. We need to graduate ourselves, and they don't need that level of intense interaction and hand holding that,
Very true.
right? And so our brain just needs to be told that and reminded that because it's still kind of hanging on to what that looked like before and what that feels like. So if they interrupt you, now it probably feels very similarly to when they interrupted you when they were little. Like it's
It
urgent,
does.
right? And they need
It,
me, right?
yeah, I think I just feel like I can't get any privacy.
Yeah. That's probably what you felt like years ago with them.
Yeah,
Can't even go to
totally.
the bathroom, can't take a shower, can't do anything, right?
Yeah,
And we just need to remind ourselves that that's actually not the current situation.
right. Correct. Yeah.
And so it might feel similarly. It might feel like that. What does it feel like when they interrupt you now?
Um, uh, I think like suffocating is the word that
Yes.
comes to my mind.
Yes. Yes. Like somebody's attached to you, like clinging, like just,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
And I had this thought this morning. I was just like trying to, I was thinking about today, and that came to my mind, and I was like, I really think that was, and I don't want to blame anybody for my drinking, but I just feel like I was like so in need of an escape because I just felt constantly like smothered.
Yes.
And so I think that maybe somewhat are the feelings I'm feeling.
Yes. And I think part of that too is like working on those feelings, right? Because back then you didn't have the tools. You didn't
Right.
know how to stop and notice and feel, right?
Right.
And breathe
Yes.
through that and give yourself a moment, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
just in survival mode. And so we got to figure out how to like deal with these kids that need us constantly and then like how to give ourselves a break. And so that was how it was for me too. I would just drink margaritas at night because that just
Mm-hmm.
fixed everything, you know?
Yeah.
And like I didn't know any different. Like I didn't have these tools, right? But
Yes.
now you do.
I do. And I
Yeah.
have been doing that. I have been using my SNP.
Good.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So when that happens, whenever you feel that suffocating feeling this summer,
Mm-hmm.
when you set these boundaries in place for yourself and you like get yourself going on this schedule, it will happen that you will feel this. So this is an opportunity to heal some of that
Yeah.
and to let yourself process some of those feelings that haven't been able to be seen and felt until now,
Yeah.
until you're able and capable of doing it.
Right. And I have been saying, okay, this isn't an emergency.
Yep.
Everything's fine. I
Yep.
mean, if you need
Yeah.
to, so I think
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that into more focus in the forefront
Yeah.
instead of letting it just be like, okay, I guess we're done here
Right. Right. Just like,
when I
yep, there's nobody's bleeding. You
yeah.
just give me 5 more minutes. I'm doing my morning routine. That's
Yeah.
usually what I say. I'm like, listen, I'm doing my morning routine right now. You need to go inside because I sit outside on the porches, right? I'm like, no, I'm not available. I'm doing my morning routine. I'll be with you when I'm done. And
Right.
they're old enough to just go figure it out. Go eat some toast. I
Right.
don't know.
Right. Yes. Like, yes, that's what I'm like, get out of my space for a minute. Like,
Yes.
I need a minute.
Yes. And it's okay that they don't like that. Right? Like that's another thing is like we have to be okay that our
Right.
kids might not really enjoy us saying, I need some space. They might be disappointed. And it's okay for them to have those feelings in life because part of being a human is learning how to be disappointed. You're not
Yep.
doing them
That's another
any
thing I'm working
favors,
on.
right?
Being okay with others' disappointment.
Yep, yep.
Another one I'm working on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
this will be good practice then.
This will be amazing. All right. So what are you going to do after this?
After this.
Yeah.
Today or
Yeah, what are you going to take away from this and implement today?
I'm going to look at my week
Okay.
and my weekend because we do have a busy weekend, and I'm going to just kind of lay out a plan for myself, and that way I can start putting it all in and figuring out where I can fit it in, or if I need to get up a little earlier. I think that's my basic. And after this, I'm going to take my dog for a walk because he's at my heels right now, and just this was very helpful. I think I just needed to talk through it, and
Mm-hmm.
I realize it's a biggie for me. It's what keeps me going, and it keeps me I don't say motivated, but it just keeps me focused on.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes I think, oh, I'm fine. I don't need to keep doing this, and then a week goes by and I haven't journaled, and I'm like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
need to tighten it back up.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna make time. I'm gonna look at my calendar, and I might even write it out, just like time, just to kind of, because I think a lot of times I put like post-it notes in my brain, and then it just doesn't
Oh
really
yeah, I recommend
stick.
putting it on your calendar, like when you're gonna walk, like from 11 to 11:30 or whatever it is, right? Like putting
Yeah,
it on there and like
right. Yeah,
your daily appointment with yourself to do the journaling and the planning and the assessments. Yeah.
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 Because I don't normally write that out,
Mm-hmm.
so I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do that. I think that'll be helpful until I
Absolutely.
can get in. while I'm trying to get on a new sort of schedule
Yes.
here with my kids being
Yes.
home.
Yes. Yeah. And then, like, like I do, like, you just kind of like think about it the night before, eventually.
Hmm.
Like, maybe for the first couple weeks, you're like really thinking about it,
Oh
for
yeah,
the
for
week
completely.
ahead. And then you can get good. Like, okay, so what's tomorrow look like? Let me look at my calendar. Where am I going to fit this stuff in?
Yeah,
And then you can schedule
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I think it'll be helpful.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much. Do you have any other
thank you.
questions or?
Um, I mean, can't think of anything. If
Okay.
I do, I'll post. But
Yes, yes. Well, thank you
but
so much. This is going to be so helpful for all the people addressing the summer, which is right here and now, right?
yes,
Yeah.
it's a double-edged sword sometimes, but this was very helpful. I think I needed to hear it all. So thank you so much. This has been
You're
fun.
so welcome. Thank you, Rhiannon. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Hey, Rihanna, welcome back.
Thanks. I just missed you,
A long
Angela.
time no talkie.
Right.
Well, listen, you texted me and said you wanted to say a little bit more, so we hopped back on here. So, what do you want to tell us?
I got off and I said, I just, since we're just the two of us, sort of face to face, I just wanted to say thank you in person for changing my life. And I'm going to try to get through this without getting emotional. And I practiced, but I think it's going to happen anyway.
That's
So I'm going to try my
okay.
best.
Okay.
You have changed my life. And I want you to know that the work you do is so important and it really matters to me. And I know so many others. Um, a few years ago, I felt like I was in like a hopeless loop, just in need of direction, and the constant shame, the drink, the regret repeat. And I'm still in disbelief sometimes that I'm here and basically a non-drinker now, someone who doesn't even need alcohol anymore. And I'll tell you, it's amazing. I feel so much happier, energetic. I think I'm more fun and way less volatile. During coaching, you're always so engaging and understanding, um, putting me at ease, and I know many others. You're very good at guiding me to see things differently on my own and in a more helpful way without being judgmental. Really digging into my why, the why that I drank so much in the first place, has also been a game changer for me. Finally admitting that it's not just a habit, um, but for me, it was all about belonging and community. And I always thought alcohol made me more fun and likable and desirable. But through our work together, I realized that alcohol is just a big fat lie. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being you and being there for us, making a difference. And I know you're going to change the world. And I'm just glad that I have had this opportunity and that I found you. And I'm truly and forever grateful. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. It was absolutely beautiful. And I
Well,
receive all of it. And
it
I,
was heartfelt. And
yeah.
I just want you to know that we see you and we see all the work you're doing. And it's big. So very much appreciate, very grateful for you.
Well, thank you. I'm grateful for you for
Thank
being
you.
willing to go on this journey, right? It's a true
Mm-hmm.
pleasure. It is what keeps me going, is having these conversations and
Yeah.
seeing people like you get out of their own way, say yes to their lives, making themselves a priority, doing the deeper work, and like then getting here is like, it's so motivating for me because I know what that's like, because that's me, right? And that's what I want other people to know, is that it's possible. And it's so fulfilling for me to see the fruits of your labor pay off.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for trusting me and letting me guide
You
you.
too.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is a full on honor to help you do that. So
Well, thank
the
you.
feeling is
It's
mutual.
good.
Yes. Mm. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Angela. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Okay.
Well, that was so, so special. Thank you again, Rhiannon, for coming on and for wanting to come back on and share your sentiments with me. And I'm just so proud of you for doing this work. And listen, people, if you want to be like Rhiannon, you can. So you can join me in my 6-month program called Transformation Program, where it's similar to the original program that Rhiannon did for 6 months. You have weekly coaching with me and a small group of women under 10. And we kick that off at the end of the month, and I'm taking applications right now. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you to do that. Also consider signing up and joining me for a retreat. I have 2 spots left in Seattle at the end of July and a few spots left for Cancun in December. All of the retreats come with 3 months of private coaching and small group coaching with a group. And it's an investment into your future self. Rhiannon did that investment early and it has paid off for her by far. So please listen to her words. Take care of yourself, invest in yourself, say yes to doing this now versus later. And I can't wait to see who joins me. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next week. I want you to check out angelamascenik.com/aliveaf. You know what it's like to have a desire to cut back on your drinking, right? You start to read books, listen to podcasts, try things, but you might not be able to yet put all the pieces and suggestions together in a way that actually makes sense and works for you. You might struggle with beating yourself up after an overdrink. You might get frustrated with yourself when you take 2 steps forward and then another 2 steps back, and get overwhelmed with what's right and wrong about your relationship with alcohol. Your friends tell you that you should be able to have just 1 drink, and it isn't a big deal. You might be white-knuckling through urges and resisting instead of peacefully processing them. And you might struggle with your identity as someone who has enjoyed having a lot of wine or alcohol in your life. It's around you all the time. It's what you do and who you are. Well, after 5 years of successfully coaching hundreds of women through these struggles, I have created the Alive AF membership, where women like you can learn the basics on what it takes to cut back and reach your goals with alcohol, whether it is to just drink less or totally quit. And when you join, you will get the exact framework I used to change my own relationship with alcohol and still use today, that has led me to be alcohol-free for over 5 years. You're going to get access to my resources, videos, and worksheets that have been proven to change and reduce how much you drink. Every day you can ask questions, share your obstacles, and get coaching and direct support on the challenges you will face with love and no judgment. Also, you will get immediate access to workshops like uncovering your alcohol identity and changing it, how to say no to things that don't support your new identity or life or goals, aka boundaries. A workshop called Creating Emotional Agency, and another one, How to Manage Your Mind to Succeed at Your Goals, and more. Every month we have a brand new workshop. These workshops are filled with step-by-step prompts and instruction to help you create the exact relationship with alcohol that is best for you. My mission and vision for Alive AF is to be a hub of support and resources for women to come and learn how to do what is best for them and becoming more alive in the process. When you join, you're going to learn how to take care of yourself better, how to feel good and become more alive and go after the life that you really want. I want this membership to be affordable and an easy solution where you can get all the help you need in one simple place whenever you need it. So, no need to go read another book, find a new podcast, attend a free webinar, or go down the path of piecemealing it all together. Join Alive AF and have it all there in one place for you anytime you need it. So, go to angelamascenik.com/AliveAF, and enrollment is open right now. See you inside.